Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Merry Christmas.
Merry and Pippin.
Yep.
I'm bringing it right back to Lord of the Rings. Gee. Marvelous. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. Happy holidays.
Happy Honda days.
Yeah. Ryan.
La 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 la.
What's the best holiday commercial?
It's an oldie but a goodie. It's the Corona holiday commercial. With the palm
Okay,
tree.
you're in my top three. You are in my top three.
It's pretty high up there. The Budweiser Clydesdales pulling the Christmas one. That was from back in the day.
Okay.
That one was pretty
in
solid.
my top five.
There's also
you guys are good.
the Coca-Cola polar bears.
Oh shit.
There's a bunch of variations of that, but
in
that's
my top 12, sure.
Pretty
sure.
iconic. Wow.
The Hershey Kiss Bells thing is everywhere every year since I
Hershey
can recall.
Kiss is number 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 1. One of you is gonna get it. It's a very famous one. Yeah. And it's not just my of all time, it's everyone's. It is the best one that has ever been.
Is there one? Are we talking like back to when we were kids?
I remember it from when I was a kid, yes.
Is it the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup when the sun comes home for the holidays and wakes everybody up creepily by making Folgers?
No.
No, it's not. That's not number 1.
I'm sorry. No.
Fuck out. I just wake up and it smells like coffee's brewing in my house and my wife's asleep next to me still.
It's not.
What? I feel like I have this image in my head of like the early 90s aesthetic with like panning through tinsel and trees or something.
You're in the neighborhood. Yeah, you're in the neighborhood.
But I'm not gonna get there. There's
okay.
This is a shit show of advertisements.
Yeah,
here.
there's a ton of selections to choose from.
It is the 2 M&Ms where he says, "I don't know, I've never met the guy," and then Santa shows up and he says he does exist. They do exist, and then they pass out.
Yeah, and the peanut M&M, who for whatever reason they portray as an idiot.
Yes,
Santa.
He's nuts. He's a little nutty.
He's a little nutty.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's a little nutty, just make him, a resident of the sanctum of truth with his takes, as opposed to portraying him as a nincompoop, right? As one would say.
That is low.
It's not low.
It is low.
I could see all of the M&Ms in the sanctum of truth.
We don't like the.
That's where we would be like, "You guys exist," and they'd be like, "You exist." The sanctum exists.
The sanctum exists. The sanctum is strong.
Yeah. Welcome, fellowship, to the Pretty Neat Podcast.
Glad you guys came with me on that journey. That was fun.
Yeah.
It
was good. Thank you for taking us.
Well, you're welcome.
I'm Aaron. This is the Pretty Neat Podcast, where we talk about UFC and other pretty neat things.
Like holiday commercials.
And Lord of the Rings. And The Hobbit.
And Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And the finer details of the Mines of Moria.
Yeah. And who the hell are you?
My name's Ryan.
Hi,
I am
Ryan.
1/3 of this tripod. This glorious tripod.
Yeah, we stabilize the world of MMA and truth.
We're just not as balanced without 3.
I'm Dom, the third leg of this tripod, and Matt Schnell for every episode in 2023 will not be joining us.
The Matt Danger smell, the very one and the same.
He continues to spurn our advances.
Restraining orders can do that.
Well,
that is correct.
Technicality.
Yeah, man, we finished the year 2023.
4 more days.
Yeah, 4 more days. Sure. And we also cashed on our last picks. We didn't have an episode of the immediate recap of the last event, I don't believe.
No, we did not. But we for the folks listening at home, we went 4 of 6.
We're pretty much good for 4 of 6.
Yeah. Put us down for 4 pretty much every time. And we'll let you know when we're feeling confident about those other 2.
Yeah. I like the PNP 6-pack moving into the next year. That will be a prominent part of the show.
I agree. It is one I am looking forward to in a very serious way.
Yeah. And as I was saying earlier, the 6-pack is becoming popular across multiple venues as well.
And we're open. So if you want to sponsor it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to put your name,
just join the bidding war.
You just want to be an affiliate. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to put your name on this pretty neat 6-pack.
We want you to have your name on
it. Hit the bag, the mailbag, that is.
Yeah.
Bang our line, as it were.
Whether you're Donkey Kong or Peter Pan, you're both welcome to sponsor the show. Pick up what I'm putting down there with
Donkey Kong or Peter Pan.
With the DK or the PP.
Okay.
Oh, DK.
Neither of you
Donkey
will be named.
Do you guys remember the Donkey Kong rap song?
Yeah, the one that's in the movie.
Okay.
It's in the movie as well.
It is in the movie. But prior to that, right, it just lived in my brain.
So I am halfway through the movie.
Super Mario Brothers?
Yes.
Oh.
How do you get halfway through the movie?
I started watching it, got tired, paused it, and then have not gone back to it yet.
Was this today?
Yeah, okay.
No, this was a solid 6-8 weeks ago. Yeah. I'm bad at movies.
Finish it up. It wraps up well.
I thoroughly have enjoyed it thus far.
Yeah.
Like, let's be clear though. This is not the same runtime as Flowers of the Killing Moon. This is an hour and a half, hour 45 runtime.
Don't judge me like that. Killers of the Flower Moon. Did you guys see that?
My wife saw it. Also, she had to see it through a couple of viewings.
Oh.
You know, a movie that didn't need the runtime it had was Dial of Destiny. I watched that since we last spoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the
long.
Best thing you can say about Dial of Destiny is it's not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I didn't hate that movie, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's better.
You'll appreciate this one more, probably.
Okay.
I like the fan service.
It's got a lot of fan service. That's why you just read my mind. There's a lot of fan service. There's a lot.
I'm not like the biggest Indiana Jones fan.
No.
I like Martin Scorsese though. So and I like DiCaprio. So Killers of the Flower Moon is on my list.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge I thought was very good in Dial of Destiny. And there's like this is like just strange Antonio Banderas like small role.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't buy that relationship at all. Like my longtime best friend that has not been seen in the quadrilogy prior.
Right.
We clearly go way back, so you have to feel something when he dies because you know he's going to.
Wow. Spoiler.
Spoiler alerts.
Aaron, I did see your Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah. So the third act was a thing, kind of.
Coriolanus Snow, not a good guy.
No.
And it boggles my mind that people can watch those movies or read those books, which are set in the future, and be like, yep, let's vote for bigger government. Yeah, they won't take it that far. Fucking wild.
I kind of have this thing in my head where Ready Player One is the future in about 20 to 30 years, and then Hunger Games is the future 100 to 200 years, and then We Are Legion, We Are Bob is like 1,000 years. And if you listen to them in that order, it kind of it messes you up. We have a lot to recap, fellas.
And before we do that, let's recap. Ryan, how was your trip to SoFi Stadium?
Oh yeah.
It was the temporary home of all Buffalo fans.
So I heard it wasn't super Buffalo heavy.
Oh,
okay.
So, in my estimation, it was probably at least 2/3 filled Buffalo.
Okay.
So much so that not this game, because obviously I wasn't listening to any live telecast since I was there, but they made mention in the past that Justin Herbert, before he went down with season-ending surgery, home games had to use a silent count the entire year. That's just a leftover like thing with the Chargers, that they don't have a very strong rabid fan base. And then also it's the
Kinda
other
never
thing
have.
of that's fair. That's fair. It was very similar in San Diego, like very similar.
And neither do the Padres, so it's not, they're not unique.
No, it's more so because people move to San Diego or California because of everything that it has to offer from other portions of the country that are maybe not as hospitable, but they bring their fandom with them. They don't convert over. That's been what I've experienced for many years now. And I'll give you a great example. I mentioned in the past, I had season tickets when the Chargers were in San Diego for a few years with Ashley's parents, and we had 5 tickets in total. And you make friends with the people that you sit with every week. You see them all the time. And there's a family. It was 2 sons and a mom, and they were there every week. We say hello. They'd show up in their Chargers jerseys, except when they played the Chiefs, and they would show up in their Chiefs gear.
Fuck that.
And they would be like, oh, the Chiefs are our first team, which is what Cliff and I, the immortal Cliff, make an inside joke about having they're our first team, and
the Chargers are our second team. I hate that. No.
But that's the truth of Chargers fandom, is that people will root for them until their original hometown team shows up, or for whatever reason, people that have never lived in the city have chosen a team as their team, which is me basically calling myself out with my fandom of the Red Sox early, in prior years. It's waning right now, but never lived in Boston, never been to Boston. Yet I really like the Red Sox fans. And I've said that about many other people as well. I actually have a good friend. We were co-workers who is a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I was like, where are you born? Riverside, California. Yeah. Okay. Shut up, dude.
So what's
shout
weird?
Out Brandon, if you're listening.
There's a lot of Steelers fans in Orange County.
Strange.
Did you know that?
I did not know that, but it's still
there's
nonetheless
like a lot.
Strange.
I don't really know why, but there is. That's a California sports thing, kind of in a nutshell, that you're describing. The teams that really struggle the most with it are like the Chargers and probably the Clippers. The Giants, the baseball Giants, certainly the Lakers and the Dodgers are immune to it. If you go to a Dodger game, it's Dodger fans. If you go to a Laker game, it's Laker fans. That's never changing.
If you come to Texas, everyone's a Dodger fan.
But maybe so. If you go, though, to Angel Stadium and the Kansas City Royals are there, it's going to be 97% Angel fans. But if the Red Sox are there, it's like 65-35 Red Sox. So it just depends on the team. I do think there's a little bit of a thing which bothers me developing at SoFi, though, where it's like trendy to show up as a fan of the other team. The 49ers fans
thing.
But not for the Lakers or the Dodgers, though.
Okay. Yeah, but they're holdovers as well, and they have had the most sustained success.
Well, and they've been in the town for 60, 70 years. So it's there's generational fans, which the Rams kind of had. And I was thinking about this. There's a lot of Southern California, we talked about it, fans who are Dodger, Laker, Kings, USC, 49ers, because the Rams left, right? And they weren't going to jump on board with, or Raiders. A lot of Raider fans here too. So it's the Rams' fault though for leaving, and they're on the path, I think, to recouping some of that fan base. There is a small group of fans that did not desert them, and actually, I saw 2 people when I was there last Thursday, who had come in from St. Louis, decked out in Rams gear to see the game.
Wow.
So I was pretty impressed with that. But anyway, how was your first Easton Stick experience?
Not bad. There's nothing quite like going to a football game with Cliff when he is drinking, because it's just one-liners after one-liners.
I
Um,
can only
so
imagine.
he's pretty critical of Kellen Moore, and for good reason. He came in highly touted as somebody who is going to take the top off defenses and be very explosive, and here they are, like, just barely being able to move the ball. But they came out, and it's likely because of the coaching change and just the temporary situation, that they used Easton Stick and moved him around a lot of designed runs,
Mhm.
and Cliff was happy. He was pretty stoked. Now, Easton Stick, not the same person as Justin Herbert, not even in the same like stratosphere as
Well, I
terms
was
of
gonna ask you,
talent.
where are Charger fans on the let's go with Stick over Herbert?
No, there's
No,
there,
no
there's
one.
no there's no talk of, yeah, let's roll with Easton Stick. Like,
Okay,
let's be fucking real. That is never gonna happen
all right.
unless there's no unless. I shouldn't even say that. There's no scenario where Justin Herbert is not the starting quarterback next year for the Chargers. That's just
Okay.
incomprehensible for me. But he's a good backup. Like, that was the consensus. Cliff being a lifelong Charger fan, Patty being a lifelong Charger fan, were of the mind that Easton Stick, good backup quarterback.
Well, it's been one
Like,
game, so let's calm down a little bit.
We got another one, and this upcoming week, as they play the Broncos,
Mhm.
they will not be facing one Russell Wilson, who was benched this week in favor
Truly wild.
of somebody, I believe his last name is Stidham. And you would have to imagine that this is a precursor to him being cut at the end of the year, because he had signed a
Unbelievable what's
massive
going on with
contract.
this. 5 years, $242 million. They gave him an office with a private bathroom.
And he's going to get cut, most likely.
And he's going to
because
get
nobody's
cut.
going to trade for him. Nobody's
No.
going to trade for him.
No. Who
Aaron-
signs him?
Aaron, Russell Wilson is a quarterback who
Yeah.
had some good years with the Seattle Seahawks, and is notably married to pop singer Ciara, who they had a notable relationship where they didn't engage in premarital sex. So there's that.
He also won a Super Bowl with Seattle. This would be the equivalent of, like, and then there was a stretch of games where he was playing pretty well this year. At least he wasn't fucking it up. This would be the equivalent, I think, of the UFC just cutting, like, Ryan, help me out. Who's the guy that, like, that's was good, then became champion, then was still pretty good, but never got back to champion, and then kind of had some, like, who is the
Max
UFC
Holloway.
equivalent? It's Max.
Max
You're
Holloway.
right. It's Max Holloway. It would be like if the UFC today was just like, you know what, fuck Max Holloway.
Like, hey, Max, I know you only have lost to Volkanovski and Dustin Poirier when you went up to 155, but hey, you're cut.
I love in the NFL the who's more important, head coach or starting quarterback thing each team deals with.
Well, they also shelled out tons of money this offseason, this last offseason, to Sean Payton to get him to come out of retirement. So Sean Payton, clearly, this is just him saying, Russell Wilson, you're not my guy. And I'm going to go figure that out.
Got to be pretty
else.
confident in your job to bench a Russell Wilson.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the front office is, hey, you're safe for 3 years. So whatever you want to do, we're on board. We gave you full control.
Watch him end up in San Francisco and just completely resurrect his career.
Wow. It could happen. It could definitely happen.
You'd be lying. Anybody who said Kyle Shanahan and fucking John Lynch, their GM, wouldn't at least sit in a quiet room together alone with no phones and think about it.
Right? They're like, well,
Because there's no way. I had this argument on Christmas with my brother. There's no way. This is before Brock played a terrible game against a good team.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not looking around like, how long is this gonna keep going? Because when he didn't have McCaffrey or Trent Williams, he sucked.
He can't
So-
play from behind. That's
And
the
he
thing. the problem with
cannot
Brock
play from
Purdy.
behind. He's not digging you back out of a hole. So the truly great quarterbacks could dig you out of a hole.
Yes.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Ugh. Wow.
The Yankees.
Yankees win the Super Bowl. Not a bad choice. I don't know, man. Part of me wants to say the Eagles.
Still.
I am excited with the potential that the Rams can
No,
do.
that's not what I'm looking for here.
No?
No.
What are you looking for?
I went to the game Thursday, a couple days before you did. We had a great time. First game at SoFi I've been to that the Rams actually won. It should have been 30-7 or maybe 10, not 22, but whatever. The Saints are allowed to do offensive pass interference in the end zone, whatever. And Derek Carr literally can make 2 good throws a game, and both of them happen to be in the end zone, whatever.
Yeah.
The Rams, I think, are a team nobody is going to be excited to play in the playoffs, especially if they end up matched up with Detroit. I think everybody in Detroit is like, oh, fuck. Especially because McVay, I think, is inside Jared Goff's head in a way that not a lot of coaches and quarterbacks could be.
Hey,
that's
guy,
beside the point.
You can get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna say it. I think the Dolphins are gonna win.
I don't know. I get nervous with how inconsistent they can be at times.
Okay.
And I just don't know about their defense. Like Bradley Chubb as an outside rusher is just, he's good. But who do they have so they can take some pressure off him? Or if they just continue to decide, hey, we're going to double team Chubb every single play, who's going to be filling that role of creating pressure?
You got to double team your Chubb. I'll say that.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, what he said.
I might be succumbing to the Hard Knocks curse or bias, I should say, which I will take full responsibility for. I also think this is shocking one. I think the Ravens are good. I think they have a lot of ways to win.
Ravens are good.
And to be honest with you, I could kind of see a team like the Cowboys sneaking in there. I know they haven't looked good the last couple weeks, but I think they're a better team than they've shown the last 2 weeks. But yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about the Cowboys offensively. I think defensively,
I think they're the number 2 offense still in the league.
They put up a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
I still like I like Philly. Baltimore's a good call. I think their defense and what they can do with putting pressure on people is amazing. And then they can control the clock because they can run it with Lamar. I know they've lost like at least 2 or 3 running backs, but they just continue to trot out running backs and run the ball.
Yeah.
Playing from behind for them, that's my big concern. That's the same thing with San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I mean, they have 2 superstars on the outside.
Yeah,
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing, and Dallas Goedert is a good tight end as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Hurts, like, dude, you need 1 yard. He's going to get you 1 yard.
They still have that
every single time.
Yeah, you're right.
Still every single time.
AJ Brown's almost as good as Puka Nacua. I love it.
Dude, that's wow. That's a homer take for sure.
I mean,
Puka's really good.
Look at the numbers, baby. Look at the numbers.
Numbers are one thing. Puka came out of nowhere and also got more of the targets when Cooper was down with injuries.
Did you see
And
him on
that's-
Thursday against the Saints?
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah,
That diving catch was amazing.
dude. Yeah, it was. That's all.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't understand the debate about offensive rookie of the year. Like
It's
he's
Puka
clearly
he's
clearly the choice. He's the choice.
I'm sorry,
I don't
CJ
even know
Stroud, who is also great. It's Puka.
CJ Stroud is playing above what everybody projected him to play
CJ's
at.
gonna get it because he's a quarterback and it's biased towards quarterback.
But CJ's been out the last 2 weeks
I
with
know.
injury, and Puka's just been every single game playing through
and
an
he's,
AC sprain.
you know what,
and
Puka
rib
Puka
injury.
has that thing that a lot of great players have, and I don't know what he's going to turn into in his career. Really, what I'm saying is, great players find a way to make the play you need made, if that makes sense. And there have been a number of times this year where he's made the catch. He's also bigger, I think, than people think. 6'2", 205, they list him at. And you know what? Sean McVay, after like week 2, they were like, what's the secret with Puka Nacua? And he was like, he's winning his matchups. That's what he's winning his matchups. You win your matchup, Matthew Stafford's going to find you. It's real simple.
He's good. He's good. I believe they even said that during training camp as well. Like he was turning heads with the amount of plays that he was making.
He was.
So like, it's just really good front office management, personnel. I wish the Rams front office was the Chargers front office, and
or the Angels front office, even though it's a different sport.
Yeah. Different sport, but they'd figure it out.
They'd figure it
hey,
out.
Guys,
yeah.
This would be Ted Lasso, right? Just with football to baseball. Like, hey guys,
not annoying.
We'll figure this out. The shots fired. Goosh, goosh.
Hey, well, you know.
MMA. Yeah, we got you. Hey, what's that one that says hottie? What's that sound like? Oh. Ooh. Very objectifying. I love to be objectified. Aaron, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I added a whole bunch of additional things in our shared note. You like that?
I loved it.
And I really want to hit on some of these when we talk about our best of the year, because there's some stuff that we forgot about that is pretty impactful.
Yeah, I'm getting pictures as to fill in
those gaps.
Some things on this Prezzo when Dom returns.
This Prezzi is gonna be looking fire.
Yeah, you can see there's a few.
I like it.
We got to do.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, I've got some pictures and stuff already like set up so I can quickly drag and drop choices.
A pretty neat podcast now with visual aid.
Yes.
Yeah, for mostly our benefit.
Well,
keep us on track.
I like it.
So 2023 has come and gone, and
I mean, you're almost
in the UFC world. Time. In the world of the UFC,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we have 3 rounds to this recap. The first round.
So not a title fight.
Not a title fight.
All right.
Because the sport will live on.
We're not there yet.
When we predict the UFC is going to be
something
eliminated.
Tells me we can stretch this more than 25 minutes, even with 3 rounds. So
me too. That's a pretty great way to put it too.
I'm betting the over.
Yep.
Yeah. Hammer it. Put the house on it.
Hammer the over.
The first round is going to be general recap information of the year. The second recap will be our best and tops of the year, and then the third round will be how did we do in our champion prediction from last year, and then we'll move into some pretty neat podcast picks for 2024, and that's the plan. But yeah, man, there were a couple of firsts in the UFC in 2023. The first championship quadrilogy happened.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dope.
Probably never again.
Yeah, probably never again.
Because think about what it would take. I'm sorry to cut you off. Think their 2 careers and the schedule And the outcomes, because remember there was the majority decision in there or whatever.
Well, the first fight was a draw.
Draw, whatever it was. But wasn't there also a majority decision?
When Davison won it on the fourth fight,
the
270.
270,
were
which
there.
we were at.
No,
Yeah.
that was the third fight.
That was the fourth.
No, they fought one more time because Moreno ended up champion, not Davison.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It was the third fight.
Yeah.
That was the majority decision. And
Yes.
then Brandon won decisively.
Yep, in the fourth.
in the
Totally
fourth.
right.
So their careers had to be aligned, right? The rest of the division had to cooperate, which it did. So we're never getting that again. I don't know if we want it again. There's not two better,
unless it's Izzy and Alex.
That's you read my mind right there, because that
They've
would
got
be
two.
That would be fight number 5,
Okay.
including kickboxing, and fight number 3, which if we got our way would be at 205. But there's tons of rumors flying. Aaron, you shared with Izzy, and then also Alex fighting up at 265, which you guys know my thoughts on that. It's absolutely fucking wild.
I think it just depends on who he's matched up with, but we'll get to it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
How quickly would you buy the pay-per-view if the main event was him versus Cyril Gane?
I'm a big proponent of buying the UFCs anyway, UFC pay-per-views anyway, because I want to support.
Sure,
right?
But that's not really the spirit of the question is.
Sure. Yeah, like
that's an immediate. That's a no questions asked.
Yes, let me see it. I want to see that battle. And is Cyril afraid, right, of what Alex can do, and then does he try to do something other than stand up?
I'm sorry to do this, but Aaron, maybe you can move this part somewhere else. We got to talk about what happened in boxing on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
The one in was that in
it was in like Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So really quickly, Deontay Wilder loses. Doesn't look that good. Joseph Parker's a monster. And I think Wilder's time is done. And Anthony Joshua made Otto Wallen, who gave Tyson Fury everything he could handle one time, quit on the stool. So
there you go.
There it was. Also happened in 2023.
So Anthony Joshua versus Fury after he beats
Usyk
in March?
Probably no, February.
All right, pencil it in.
So we get them in probably August, September.
Yeah, for late summer, early fall, 2024.
Love it.
Done. Yeah. So quadrilogies. That's crazy.
Yep, crazy.
First Contender Series alum won, but not the last of 2023, because Jamal Hill, albeit the first Contender Series champion, Sugar Sean also became a Contender Series alum champion this year.
Wild.
The first female Mexican champion, Alexa Grasso, which we're going to talk about again, and Brad Katona became the first Ultimate Fighter winner twice.
All right.
And then some records that were set in 2023. I think there's actually 2 pages of these. Most championships fight 1, 15 John Jones. What were you going to say, Ryan?
I just thinking about that. He's technically lost once because he hit somebody with what is an insane rule of a 12-6 elbow. Otherwise has only fought and defended at the very highest of high levels.
It's wild.
It's GOAT status.
I
mean, that is the only resume piece he needs.
Yeah.
Who is second? Do you know?
It's either GSP or Anderson Silva.
And do you know what the number is?
Oh no, I don't. But it must have been 14. He must have been tied beforehand.
Okay.
But yeah. The fewest UFC fights to become double champ. Alex Pereira, 7 fights.
Also wild. Not technically a double champ, but
yeah, not the simultaneous, but
yeah.
Most knockout wins. Derek Lewis hit 14.
You had to get him on here, didn't you?
What's funny is I actually had put he set the record, so it's got to be on there. But I almost put Matt Brown on there because he tied the record of 13 knockouts before Derek broke it again. So we
Okay.
almost had a tie.
Okay.
Well,
Ryan,
we got to get Derek in there.
yeah.
Hey, circle back. Number 2 is GSP, and it was 13.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
And
So
number 3 is Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson with 12.
that
Oh,
makes
good
sense.
call. Okay.
That
I'd
makes
like to see
sense.
him fight John Jones.
I'd like to see 2 of him fight John Jones.
Yeah,
I
think it's 3.
Give me
I think number's
John.
3.
Give me John even at 3. I don't know. 2. Give me John.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Longest first round knockout streak was Sergey Pavlovich with 6, which was ended by Tom Aspinall.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Miller set the record for the most UFC victories of 25.
Numbers lower than I would have thought.
Merab Dvalishvili attempted 49 takedowns in a single fight, which was the most of any single fight.
What fight was that in?
Hammer the over.
I want to say that was shit. It wasn't Aljo, was it Aldo? Was it Jose Aldo?
I'm thinking that's what it was.
He
Because that's
definitely-
insane.
Yeah, that's insane. Almost as insane as Charles Oliveira's 20 finishes in the UFC, which was the record he set. Most decision
Sorry,
victories
Benil.
would be fucking Neil Magny. 14 unanimous decisions.
The eternal gatekeeper.
Yeah,
Edson
that's true.
Barbosa, his 9th fight night bonus. And
That's
Tony
crazy to think of.
Yeah, right. And Tony
How
Ferguson
did-
has tied the longest losing streak of 7.
Who did he tie it with?
BJ Penn.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yep, he burned
So-
out hard.
So Shohei Ohtani has to play about a game and a half to make what Edson Barbosa made in 9 fights on bonuses alone.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
And his boy Yoshimoto or whatever Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. All 5'10" of him clears that in about 3 games. So
Dude.
if you're keeping score at home, kids.
By the way, for that 49 takedown attempts, that was against Piotr Jan for
Wow.
Merab.
What
And
would the
of that-
over-under have been on that line? I get.
He got 11 of the 49. He was basically hitting 20% of his takedown attempts.
That's wild.
That's
Who's-
wild.
And he's fighting Cejudo. Is that right?
He's fighting Cejudo,
Oh god.
which will be interesting because Cejudo, right?
Olympic wrestler.
Olympian gold medalist, 2 division champion, but advanced age, right? So you gotta love the motor of Merab, gimme the Dvalishvili for dessert
Mm-hmm.
to win some type of decision.
Dessert Dvalishvili is delicious.
Did we
It's
talk
delicious.
about that? Is that some sort of dark chocolate eclair or something?
That sounds about where I'm going, actually. I went cannoli route.
No,
some-
it's some sort of further East European,
Yeah. There'd be
Yeah,
nuts
so what
and
is
fruit in it.
Southeast European. Yes, there would be nuts like
South-
dates, probably.
Mhm.
Southeast Europe, you
Dates.
know, the famous area of Europe, the Southeast.
The Southeast, wow.
I think it's some sort of stuffed pastry
Yeah. If
that
you
is
want
sounds
not
about
overly
right.
sweet.
And you know what? If anybody would like a copy of the Pretty Neat Podcast fighter name recipe cookbook, let us know.
We could write it.
We could.
fucking write it.
We absolutely could. And hit the mailbag. We'll send you some recipes.
I love it.
Go to the website.
Yeah,
hit the
there
mailbag.
is if you just look up Eastern European dessert recipes, you're gonna find some wild stuff.
Uh-huh.
Just do yourself that favor. We got some cottage cheese kalaki doughs.
No,
some
sir.
We
baklava.
have some
Baklava, good
Balkan
call.
kifle walnuts.
Dvalishvili
Sour
would be like
cream.
a
Like a
modified
baklava.
baklava.
No
Yeah.
pistachios, though.
Nope.
There's
Maybe
a
some
local
ice cream.
market that sells pistachio baklava close to me that are wonderful.
Baklava.
What? I can't enjoy a pistachio baklava?
do
Delicious.
whatever
Or is it
want.
rugelach? I don't know. It's one of the two.
Rugla. Isn't rugla like just the Yiddish term for baklava? I'm pretty
I-
sure it is.
I don't know. I defer to you there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So That was round one. That's the general records, some cool stuff that happened. Now we move into round two.
Speaking of dessert, on Christmas, my mom made an Italian ricotta cake.
Hmm.
I could not eat any of it, but it looked
Why
divine.
did you forget like lactate or something?
No, 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 no. Christmas Day was day one of my 75 hard challenge.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Fellas,
Okay.
it is time for us to name our best knockout of 2023. Ryan, you have some noms. Well, you both do. Uh, but I'm gonna get the pictures filled in while we make our picks for these.
Okay, so let's talk about some context around these knockouts. Significance around the knockouts obviously applies,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't discount anybody's choice of that, but golly, if the result of that knockout doesn't sit heavily on my mind.
Which one?
Mm.
With that being said, and this is recency bias, but the Josh Emmett knockout of Bryce Mitchell that left him convulsing on the canvas
I feel terrible for laughing.
Is without a doubt in my mind that has to be the KO of the year. And the fact that it came with only a couple of weeks left in the calendar year is wild to me. But just the confluence of events that made this a reality, from Bryce taking it on short notice to we talking to us, the three of us talking about this in preparation, that the way that Josh Emmett wins this fight is by knockout with a huge overhand right. If I did not say that myself, to the reality of Bryce coming in to a fully loaded overhand right. My God, man.
We witnessed brain damage.
We witnessed brain damage and potentially a career-altering event for Bryce Mitchell. And the realization that the UFC and probably MMA at large needs far better and more effective post-fight measures to ensure the safety of the individual.
Yeah, he should not have been walking
that motherfucker
that is such a good point
and stumble out of the cage.
Yeah,
that is insane.
He looked like both of his legs were asleep while he was trying to walk.
Yeah,
that was not cool. That was not cool.
There should have been. There should have been I'm confident that there was a ringside physician there, but ordering the team to allow this man to recover. You can do the post-fight ruling with Bruce Buffer and the referee. Yeah.
Treat it like a broken leg.
There.
No, he doesn't have to be there.
Just keep him off to the side and make sure that he has the proper attention so that he may exit, which those are stairs, folks, and pretty steep stairs at some point, and you have to navigate those for a gentleman who was just put unconscious and involuntarily convulsed. We can do a better job.
He had a seizure. Yeah.
He had a seizure.
You don't let him get back up.
So I am with you. Best knockout. There has to be additional context to it. Otherwise, we'd want to call it like most spectacular or something.
Sure. Yeah, this may be just most vicious.
But except that your point about how this could hopefully change the structure of post-fight proceedings for the better, I think is a really, really good one. And unfortunately, Bryce just took that fucking sledgehammer. That's a really good choice and a really good series of points. I support that. I'm going to go the other direction. And Aaron, I bet you have this queued up for me already, but we'll see. to me, I've got to have a title attached to it, and I was not as impressed with the Adesanya Alex Pereira one as everybody else was. Give me Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling here, please. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love this because it's a clear display of what both of them are good at, right? If if Aljamain is on your back, you're in real trouble. If you catch that right hand coming in from Sean O'Malley, you're in real trouble. And I thought it was a stoppage in the right amount of time, not late, not early. Certainly not late for that particular one. And it, kind of solidified. Sean had way more to lose in that fight than Aljamain did, even though he was not the champion. So he got it done, and give it to me. I want it. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you that O'Malley, should he have been, let's say, like dominated, loses a lot of that stigma of being that precise sniper of a striker, and it just couldn't have played out better in his favor with that perfectly timed right hand. It doesn't have to be overwhelmingly powerful, as we saw with Josh Emmett, for it to also be a devastating knockout, because his timing and his precision are next level.
It also meant a lot to the UFC, right? We talked about it. They had the highlight on their YouTube channel 9 minutes after it happened. So they needed that too.
That's a valid point, because if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the first times, if not the first time, that they decided to take a pay-per-view highlight and show the finish. Like, hey guys, Sean O'Malley, the next, quote unquote, the next Conor McGregor, here you go.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. I like
it. It's the first time I can remember them doing it.
Yeah. If it happened before, I don't remember it, but the UFC's wherewithal to be like, hey, let's get this out into social media and really pump up the volume behind Sean even more than it already was. That's just smart marketing, smart branding.
Yeah.
Aaron, what you got?
I was really kind of going between Ryan's pick and the Alex versus Izzy, with Izzy's knockout. Because of the reasons you said, Dom, where it's like I like the belt attached to it.
Yeah.
I like the impact around it. It kind of forced Alex Pereira to go up. Although he was probably going to go up regardless of the outcome of that fight. And I liked the revenge aspect, but then I like what Ryan had to say about potentially altering the game a little bit.
Let me ask you.
But yours altered the game too because of the pay-per-view release of the footage. So it's like,
do you think that Israel losing to Sean Strickland so soon after kind of takes away from that knockout a little bit?
I think so.
I think so. I think it does. So that means I'm gonna go with when Robbie Lawler knocked out Nico Price.
Wow.
and then retired.
Okay.
So that's like a KO cap off.
Yes.
That's a KO capper for his entire career. Because let's be honest, like Robbie Lawler.
That's what he's known for. He's
Robbie Lawler
obliterating people, and he wrapped it that way.
Nico Price was a willing participant in that exchange.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and I'm not gonna pick. I'm not gonna pick between these two now. It's just I don't think I want to side with either of you because I think you're both right on equal merits. So I don't want to weigh either one.
I think. Go ahead, Ryan. No,
I'm just saying they're significant for different reasons.
Yeah.
So
for like best, we all have our criteria.
I think these three picks perfectly sum up each of our views on how this sport works.
It's very, very reasonable. Very reasonable. All right. Now we got to talk submissions.
We should all have the same one here.
The best submission?
Maybe. Let's look at some notable ones. Alexa Grasso submitted Valentina Shevchenko. John Jones submitted Cyril Gahn. Damone Blackshear got the third twister. Brendan
Mhm.
Allen submitted Paul Craig and Andre Muniz.
Mhm.
Shavkat submitted Wonder Boy and Jeff Neal.
Mhm.
And those are all really, really good. So when
Uh,
you say we should all be in line here, that makes me feel like it has to be John Jones and Cyril Gahn.
yeah, that's clearly where he's going.
Is that where you're going, Dom?
That is correct, sir.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand it. And I'm gonna I'm gonna pick the same thing. And I was really tempted to pick Grasso and Val because of like just come from behind and it was super planned. Like that was exactly what they wanted. She was gonna throw a spinning kick to the body. She's gonna jump on her back and submit her, and that's exactly what they did. They followed the game plan. But like this Jones sub, A wins the heavyweight belt, B it's Cyril Gahn, C it's in the first round, D
It's
it
in the
like
first 90 seconds,
first
basically.
90 seconds. Um and then it reminded me of when he choked out Lyoto Machida with a similar guillotine. And albeit standing when that happened and completely put him to sleep. So it kind of echoed it. It had like a resonance. So yeah, this
Also,
is
his
my
first fight at
choice.
heavyweight.
Yep. So that's mine.
Also against a guy who is a much better striker than he is.
Yeah.
And he just completely took away everything Cyril Gahn wanted to do and won the heavyweight belt, the most important belt in the company.
There you go. So where
So let me
who
tell you why
not?
you guys are both wrong. So it's Alexa Grasso submitting Valentina Shevchenko for many reasons. And I see you shaking your head, but
Yeah.
There's
this
reasons.
this is an upset. John Jones was
A slight favorite.
That is
was
true. Grasso was a
a
minus,
favorite,
or
a
Valentina was
plus.
a minus 750.
Valentina was a massive favorite coming into this fight, and her streak of title defenses starting to garner talk about whether or
Valentina
not
closed it at minus 900.
Fuck.
Valentina or Amanda was the best female fighter of all time. And
Well,
for Alexa to come in
not
and
that
do
many
what
people were having that argument, but carry on.
there was discussion. Let's be honest here. There was discussion that Alexa was going to come in, not Alexa, sorry, Valentina was going to come in, defend, and then maybe go back up and try to defeat Amanda one final time, and that, you know,
Well,
didn't
but
come to
not one final
fruition.
time because she lost to her twice.
Fight her one final time
Yeah.
and tried to defeat her for the first time because she lost to her twice previously, as you mentioned. But similar to what we talked about with the huge ovaries lady, who I can't, Juliana Pena defeating Amanda Nunes in a giant upset, which happened last year, if I'm not mistaken. This is very similar as a turning of the tide, whereas while we had our debates about John Jones versus Cyril Gahn and their merits and who could win and how, John Jones was the favorite. And in terms of significance, and now what this has done, as she is the very first female Mexican fighter champion, as Aaron mentioned earlier, that's why this is the best submission for 2023. And then just as like a smuggle in here, Damone Blackshear getting the third twister in UFC history earlier this year, that has to get some shine, 100%. Albeit he did it against somebody that none of us know, Jose Johnson. He did get the third twister submission and garnered instant recognition, to which if I recall correctly, was on the next UFC card in like a matter of a few weeks because it was an early stoppage and didn't sustain any damage. But Valentina, right? We've seen her dismantle people, and she's beaten them at their own game. For Alexa to come in and overwhelm her and then get that rear naked choke submission, that's big stuff. That's big time right there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I see your reasons. I see your reasons. Subs of the year: John Jones, Alexa Grasso. I'd like to see them fight. You'd need like 5 Alexa Grassos or 6.
Huh.
All right.
Well, yeah, we know John likes to fight women.
Wow.
Does Deep Cut qualify for that? I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, best fight of the year. There were some good fights. There were a total of 520 fights this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Across
That's a lot of fights.
over 40 events.
And we probably watched most of those.
Yeah.
At least 450.
Yeah. So fight of the year. We've got 5 nominations that we've kind of put up.
Okay.
Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 1.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko 2, which ended in a draw. Gaethje versus Fiziev. That's a good one. Glad you put that up there. Alex versus Izzy 2, I didn't expect to be on there, but it deserves to be. And Aldana versus Rosa, which just happened a couple weeks ago. And I will jump in with my pick first, since you both did already. Alex and Islam won. I mean, the top 2 pound for pound. Alex moving up for double champ. And it was a close fight. I mean, I know people contested that Volkanovski may have won. And I mean, maybe give that fight another round and he may have, but Islam won that fight and he definitely capped it off in the second one. But that was like the best fight of the year for me.
I'm more of the same. Honestly, like I kind of want to say something different, but it's Volkanovski versus Islam the first time, because we know the second time it wasn't even close, and lack of preparation probably had some element to that.
Yep, short notice.
But in terms of like the unknown, what is Volk going to look like at 155? And then our surprise at his ability to be competitive, defend takedowns. He took Islam down. He was dominant. Dominant's too strong of a word, but he was winning at the end of the fight, right? He didn't win the fight, but at the end of the fight, he was winning. Like, that is the surprise factor for me. Like, that's what put it over the top as the best fight. We all thought Islam was going to run him over. It was like, all right, you came up, you tried to do your whole Connor thing. It's not going to work out. But it was competitive. And that's why he got a second fight, is because it was so competitive.
Yep.
But when you go up a weight class and you fight this guy who may also go up a weight class and try to challenge for the welterweight belt, you got to have a full camp. You cannot train for a week and a half and expect to not get KO'd.
Yep.
But the first time, that was the best fight. That was the best fight I watched all year.
I agree with all of that, except that I would contend that Volkanovski did win. And I will get there by saying the following words. Volkanovski had more total strikes, less takedowns, more significant strikes, and more knockdowns over the course of 25 minutes. Nobody expected it to be as close as it was, either which way. The enduring image of the fight is Volkanovski on top in a position of control. Good leg lock there by Islam. But yeah, I don't have anything else to add. That is the fight of the year.
And that kind of answers the next one. If it
Mm-hmm.
had been different, which is what's the best title fight of the year? It's got to be that one.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
In a lot of
Now,
ways, if you were trying to introduce someone to MMA, you could point to that fight and say, "This is why we love this."
yeah, that's totally reasonable. Um, that fight, what event was that?
284.
So, which was a quite a good card. That was the featherweight.
It was an okay card.
That's when Yair beat Josh Emmett for the
Mm-hmm.
interim featherweight. Jack Della subbed Randy Brown, Justin Toffa, Parker Porter. Okay, this
Parker
was a
Porter no longer on the roster.
yeah, this was an okay card. Which I was throwing it in there for the event of the year. Which I guess 280, I think it should be considered up there. It was a pretty good card. Um, but I think UFC 290 and 295 really have something more to say. UFC 290 was Alexander Volkanovski beating Yair Rodriguez for the belt consolidation. Uh, Alexander Pantoja beat Brandon Moreno. Dricus knocked out Robbie Lawler, or sorry, Robert Whitaker. Bo Nickel had a knockout on that card. This was
On
July
295.
8th.
Okay.
On 290.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 295 was Yuri versus Alex for light heavyweight. Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
Jessica Andrade knocked out Mackenzie Dern, finished her. Benoit Saint Denis, Boner Saint Penis, head kick to the steamroller in the head. So maybe it's 295. And then I put Austin on there because it had the first event with two slam KOs. They did happen back to back. And almost every prelim was a finish. It almost broke the record for most finishes on a single
Which was
card.
the card where all but like one fight was a finish? There was one where like 10 or 11 of them were finishes. Let me weigh in here really quick. It is 295 narrowly, and I mean narrowly edging out Noche UFC, which you did not list. Noche UFC gets major
True,
points because the
March 8th.
UFC bumped Canelo, which is fucking wild, on Mexican
Ooh,
Independence Day. And they're saying they're going to do it at that Sphere next year. And it was really a cool way for them to put a free event, a free TV event anyway, um, on, on a Saturday night, and
you
really kind of grab a stranglehold of a day that they just kind of own now. And there will be no UFC shirts.
you
It is
sold me.
295. It's 295, but it's Noche UFC gets the honorable mention.
Yeah. I'm picking Noche. You sold me on that. But we'll bring up UFC 295. Man, that was a great fucking card.
Yeah, I think I'm going UFC 285 here, and that is the John Jones Cyril Gahn main event. But also in the co-main was the Alexa Grasso Valentina Shevchenko first fight where she won by submission. And then you also have Shavkat who submitted Jeff Neal with a standing rear naked choke. We had Mateusz Gamrot beating Justin Turner by split decision. And in the opening of the pay-per-view, we had Bo Nickel, who submitted Jamie Pickett by arm triangle choke in the first round. And we had Dricus, who was on the prelim, who knocked out he beat Derek Brunson by corner stoppage. Derek Brunson's corner stopped the fight.
Oh my.
In the featured prelim event.
You sold me on that.
And we also had Ian Machado Gary on the prelims. for like the last time
You're
ever.
talking about
Probably
285?
285.
It's a good
Who
one.
TKO'd Song Kanan. And we also had, really, that was about it. But like that main event, 2 title fights, Shavkat with a finish, because that's all he does. Mateus beating Jalen Turner, which is wild. And then the
Bo.
opening of the main card with Bo Nickel, just doing Bo Nickel stuff.
There you
Bo
go.
Nickel, Dark Horse,
285.
2024 middleweight.
Not really a dark horse.
No.
Dark Horse to be champion at the end of the year. I don't know if he'll get there.
I don't think he fights enough. That's
No.
well, I'm sure we'll get to that too.
Yep. Best moment. Was there a best moment?
Best moment?
This was
give me Amanda's retirement.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yep. I should have saved that. That's so good. Good call. Mine, because that is a really good one. Very moving.
Not for any reason other than she's the greatest and left on her terms.
That's a good one. Like in terms of trying to search for a better feel good type of moment. That's amazing. I
I
really
mine.
can't disagree. What do you got?
That was my moment this year.
Oh, that's good too.
Korean Zombie walking out
So
after he
annoying.
lost, and the crowd started singing Zombie.
So
And
annoying.
that was a beautiful moment. That's all. It was between that and when Izzy knocked out Alex. That was a pretty epic moment. Like just the revenge, the archery pose. He nailed
But
that.
it's taken away because he lost.
But it is taken away because he lost. What about you, Dom? Favorite moment?
I just said
What was it?
Amanda
Oh, that's
retiring.
right.
Yeah.
We're waiting on Ryan. My bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have like a just a moment, right? In terms of the context that we just talked about with Chan Sung Jung, right? And just singing Zombie, that's amazing. Amanda retiring, the celebration after the fight is what like sticks out in my mind for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know. Like maybe this is like a blind spot that I have. I don't necessarily think about as moments, but
That's a UFC thing. There's not we don't have the attachment to the fighters the way we do to teams.
Yeah. Yeah. What about what the fuck moments? Mine's real easy. Mine was watching Bryce seize on the floor.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Like that was just like I was watching it. I was texting with you guys. My wife was sitting there and I was like, "Holy shit, he's having a seizure." Just that that I seized not being able to think about the seriousness of that moment.
that's pretty bad.
Same guttural feeling that I had when Weidman broke his leg. It was just, oh my God. That's no. So that was it for me. That was
Yep.
the what the fuck for me.
Yep, I'm with you.
I'll go off script here. Not that we have a script. just for anybody wondering. Dana White's video of him slapping his wife.
Oh, wait, was that technically 2023?
Yeah. I believe that was New Year's.
It was at a New Year's party.
Okay.
Just like preceding all of the events of fucking UFC Slap. Like the fact that these things happen in this type of like sequence is baffling.
That is really
But
funny.
slapping his wife and then try and promote Slap League like nothing ever happened,
Yeah.
and going radio silent for about a week, and
Yeah.
then business as usual, baby.
Well, and the way the ESPN conveniently started talking about the men's national team or women's national team coach that apparently kicked his wife maybe in like 1991, suddenly like completely overshadowed a guy who on video smacks his wife.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a what the
that's
fuck
power,
moment for
baby.
me.
That's power.
Mm-hmm.
That's that the ESPN Disney going, make it go away.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Dig
what?
up one of the 30-year-old stories and talk about that.
There is another contender that I put in there, but I didn't choose, which was Sugar Sean's brand being on the canvas where he was the contender.
It's up there.
That's a what the fuck moment
It's an
for
honorable
sure.
mention, I think.
Yep. Right then.
It's Pittsburgh is making it rain all of a sudden. You watching this game, Ryan?
I am, because
They've
I took
scored
the over on
4
Crosby winning
goals.
faceoffs.
4 goals in like 7 minutes.
There we
It's
go.
weird how like teams can just have an off night and they just get shit all over, because the Islanders are not necessarily super
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
No. Well then, who's our rookie of the year? Who's
You
your
don't
rookie of
need
the
to
year?
ask me. You don't need to ask me.
I don't.
Just put it in.
Okay. You got it.
Just you don't need
Yeah,
to
you don't
ask
have
me.
to-
Just put it in. That's what she said.
That's
That was a
good.
very
That's
hearty
good.
laugh. I liked it. So Dom picked Bo Nickel.
Yeah, no consent needed. Go ahead and just stick it in there.
Yep. Yep. Well, we all picked the same thing.
Wiggle it around a little bit and see what happens. Who knows?
All right, I suggest soaking. That's a
Oh, gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys taught me what that meant.
Docking. Yeah.
Yep. Or yep, that's what it was. So we all picked
No, it
Bo
was
Nickel.
both, I think. Yeah.
It's Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel. I think there's some honorable mentions with Joe Pfeiffer, Tatsuro Taira.
What?
Yeah, they both had finishes.
Joe Pfeiffer has the unfortunate reality of fighting in the same division as Bo Nickel, so he's going to get overshadowed a little bit. Tatsuro Taira, though, at, if I'm not mistaken, at 125.
Yep, flyweight.
That's interesting.
Crazy
that's interesting with his
power,
his submission ability.
everything. Probably not going to be a champion before Bo Nickel, though. Probably not. He needs a couple fights.
Yeah, we just said Bo Nickel, he's got to fight at least 3 times.
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah,
for that to even
and
be
he
a
is
remote
fighting at
possibility.
300.
Yes, in April.
Rumored.
No, I'm pretty sure Dana announced it.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did announce that. Yeah. That felt good. What about fighter of the year? Is there somebody who really just holy crapped this year? And yeah, who did it all? Who was the talk of the town for 2023? I think there's a lot of options. You've got Sean O'Malley.
This is like Sean O'Malley's done a lot, and
Strickland.
The problem with Sean is, contrary to what we perceive of what he would do, he's been relatively quiet since his victory.
Yep.
Not a whole lot of social media influence.
That's a really good point. He also only fought once in 2023.
Yep, well, that could be a reason.
So I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Shavkat either, because Shavkat still doesn't have a mastery of the English language. So in terms of his his personality, we don't really know what it is. He is compelling, I think we could all agree to that. However, him as a personality, it's not quite fully developed yet. And I don't know if it will be until he, speaks more English, right? And lets his personality come out. I mean, but
Sure.
his accolades speak for themselves. And I don't know if it's Islam, because also Islam has the downside of
He only
not fighting
fought
too
Volk.
frequently.
He only fought
Yeah, he
him.
only fought Buck
Mm-hmm.
twice. And he's not Khabib. Even though we say he's the next Khabib, in terms of his personality, he's not Khabib. And this is wild for me to say, but for all of his takes and the shit that he says, and the fact that he is now the UFC middleweight champion, Sean Strickland has to be the fighter of the year.
That is correct.
We're all in the same place. So
Sean also fought 3 times in 2023. And if I'm not mistaken, he had like 2 super short notice fights at the end of the year. Like he's game, He's gonna get in there after that.
He's a company man.
I mean, he got shadow rounded by Alex Pereira, then lost to Cannonier, then goes out and beats Imavov, Magomedov, and Adesanya.
and
That's not
destroys
nothing.
Adesanya.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Annihilation, domination, not annihilation, domination. So Sean Strickland, yeah, that's where I was. That's where I
Come on
was
the Pretty
leaning.
Neat Podcast.
Yeah, anytime. Doors open. Bring Chris Curtis. He's pretty cool. That
Action man.
brings us
Yeah.
to round 3 before we start our picks for 2024, which is we have to recap our picks from 2023.
All right.
So,
fun.
women's strawweight, you both chose Zhang Wei Li and I chose Rose Namajunas.
Okay.
Boy, I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's Zhang Wei Li, and she defended it once against Amanda Lemos.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was it. Where is it?
All right. 1-0.
Yes. And then women's flyweight, we all picked Valentina Shevchenko to be the champion at the end of the year, and it was Alexa Grasso. And she fought Valentina twice. Obviously, she won the first time by a submission, and then Valentina and Grasso fought to a draw at UFC 285, or sorry, at Fight Night on September 16th. Women's bantamweight, we were all more right than we could have imagined, in that we all picked it was going to be Amanda Nunes unless she retires. And that is exactly what happened.
And both of those things happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were more or less correct, even though technically it's vacant right now.
Yeah.
Men's flyweight, we all picked Brandon Moreno. And man, Alexander Pantoja came up out of there. And
Nobody saw that.
Nobody did. We were on the right path in that Brandon Moreno did take the belt back from Davison at 283 in January, but then lost it at 290. And believe it or not, Alexander Pantoja has not only won the belt, but also defended it once this year. So good for him.
Yeah.
Then we have men's bantamweight. And Ryan, I didn't have your pick on this. You didn't make one. We just breezed right over you. But man, Dominic, you called Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, there was no bias in that pick at all.
None at all. You did predict that he was going to take it from Henry. Oh,
did I?
You did. You predicted that Aljo was going to lose the belt to Henry at some point.
Did I really?
Yep. And
that has not aged well.
I said that Henry would also take it from Aljo and would vacate, and that Cheeto would win it.
Okay.
But then, so yeah, you were right in your pick of Sean O'Malley. And so was Ryan, since he probably did pick that. Maybe, I don't know. Man, featherweight. we all picked Alexander Volkanovski to
Big
retain.
shocker here.
He totally did, which he defended against Yair Rodriguez. After losing to Islam in their fight, he then came back and defended, which is pretty cool. Which that's only the third time that a champion has defended their belt after a loss, challenging in another weight class. Israel Adesanya did it.
205. Okay.
Yep. And somebody else, but older generation. Then we have lightweight. We all said it was going to be Islam. We were all right. He beat Alexander Volkanovski twice. And welterweight.
I'm okay.
I didn't pick anything.
Trying to figure out who I picked on this.
Yeah, welterweight, I didn't pick anything. For this, we breezed over me, but both of you chose Kamaru Usman, and it was Leon Edwards.
It was.
Yep. And this, we did make this pick that it would be Kamaru. I think we just all agreed that he would have to win it back because he'd already lost to Usman the first time, Edwards. Then we get into some fun one. Well, men's middleweight.
I picked Bo Nickel.
Dom picked Bo Nickel, and he
Did
said
I
there's
really?
only one answer, and it's Bo Nickel. Yes, you did.
Sounds like words I would say.
It did spawn a discussion about him needing 2 more fights, but you did pick Bo Nickel. Ryan came out of left field a little bit, not even too far in left field, with Robert Whitaker, and I chose Israel Adesanya to take it back from Alex, and you thought that was insane, Dominic. You thought Izzy was never getting it back.
Still kind of do, and I don't think he's ever getting it back.
I don't either. And also, Dom, you get credit because you're the only one who even mentioned Sean Strickland's name.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
And it was like, well, there's Sean Strickland, but he just lost, so he'll need a few more wins. And he got those.
He did get them. That's true.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you a question before we move on.
Yeah.
Why do we have Izzy
That's an accident.
over Henry Cejudo?
That's the hidden fight that was like the WWE does the dark fights that are not televised. That was the one that wasn't televised.
Totally an accident. This is supposed to be Alex Pereira.
All good.
But that's easy to fix really fast. Bam. So there's that. Then we move into light heavyweight.
Yeah, look at me.
The answer is Alex Pereira. That's to quote you.
How?
That is to quote you.
The answer is Alex Pereira. What I probably said what I would continue to say about it, which is
he was going to win and move up.
Nobody can beat him.
Yep. Which was mostly true.
Is Yuri Prohaska good?
Yeah, if he doesn't get hit.
Are we sure?
I don't know. I don't know if he's good. I think he's wild.
I don't know either.
I don't know if he's good. I think he's wild.
Yeah.
He's unpredictable.
That is 100% fair to say. Yeah, I'd pick Magomed Ankalaev, and Ryan, you'd pick the comeback for Ratchich, which
and
just
Ratchich
didn't
just
happen.
continued to get hurt, so he didn't come back and fight, which is unfortunate because I think his skills are top notch for that division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is. Agree. He's going to be a problem. But yeah, and the fight changed the belt did change hands more than once in this year for light heavyweight. Jamal Hill was the champion who took it from Glover in January, and Yuri and Alex fought over the vacated title because Jamal got hurt. Then heavyweight. And we had a lot to say about heavyweight. You and Ryan, Ryan.
I don't think you have this correct.
He's got the interim. He's got the
John Jones is the answer, and Aspinall should be a smaller circle to the side because on the UFC's website, John Jones is the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he is
interim. He's got the interim designation.
I did put that he is interim,
but he is not champion. He is interim champion.
Yes, That's fair.
If this
we'll
was Vegas
fix
and we
that.
had bet on who it is January 1st at 12:01, the answer is John Jones. You
Yes,
don't like it.
You are correct.
You don't have to like it. It's the way it is.
What's interesting is um you both chose John, and you both thought that John would take it from Francis and then potentially lose it to Cyril. So there was a lot of I actually do have it wrong. We all picked Gone to be the champion at the end of the year.
If I remember correctly,
Yep.
it's something to do with like just the time that it takes to get these fights done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up the fact that Ryan is the only one of us who brought up Tom Aspinall being the dark horse. And you
Oh, I would have thought
disagreed.
you would have brought him up.
No, it was Ryan. And then you
Okay.
disagreed because heavyweights don't fight enough.
Yeah. Which is still kind of a problem we have in that division.
It's true. And the fact that Aspinall was able to fight on short notice and win is, like an outlier. You wouldn't bet on that being the trend.
No.
Mm-hmm. Nope. So yeah, we didn't do terribly.
No, we really didn't.
We didn't.
We were all around the ballpark,
Yep.
right? Right. And we were in the discussion on
4
every
out of
single-
6.
4 out
Mhm.
of 6, baby.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast Picks.
I had to restart the app and I wasn't sure if it took. Well, fellas, we got a lot of heads to fill in here. Although we'll probably be duplicating a lot of them. We have 11 2024 champs to make picks for
I like it.
2024. As you can see, I've laid out the existing champs and the current title fights that are coming up, just
I
for
like
some
it.
reference. The women's bantamweight vacant belt will be fought for on January 20th by Raquel Pennington and what's her name? Buena Silva. I forget her.
Maria.
Maria
Maria.
Buena Silva.
Myra.
March 9th, UFC 299, Sugar Sean and Cheeto.
Love it.
February 17th, before that actually, 298, Alex Volkanovski is fighting Ilia Topuria. And January 20th, 297, Sean Strickland's defending against Dricus du Plessis. So all of these title fights are announced. But yeah, where should we start? Just start on the bottom?
Let's
I
go
think
left to right.
Yeah, I think women's strawweight.
And I think it would be beneficial for us to have the rankings right now.
I've got them on my screen.
You're smart. So I'm doing that. If you've got them on your screen, what do you think so far?
For women's strawweight?
Yeah.
Come on. This is what it's Zhang Wei Li, and I mean, come on.
It's Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm going Tatiana Suarez.
Oh, fuck.
you took
no, sorry.
mine.
Sorry. Give me Tatiana. Sorry.
Okay, that's pretty
I can
funny.
never remember what weight class she is. It's Tatiana.
Well, she has fought up at 125, but she is committed to going back down to her weight class where she's super dominant.
And her next
115.
fight is at strawweight, right at 290. 298
correct.
rather.
Correct. She's fighting in Anaheim, and I would love to go, but tickets are so fucking expensive.
Yeah, we'll just go to the movie theater instead. And America's
We'll
Crossroads.
just go to the movie theater and watch her fight for the number 1 seed, number 1 contender spot.
There we go.
I am just like I'm a homer for Tatiana, and what she's gone through in her journey
Yeah.
is similar to what we talked about with like really
Roundtree.
good UFC stories with Khalil Roundtree. Like, make a fucking movie.
Terrence
about
McKinney.
that. Terrence McKinney.
Another one?
Make a goddamn movie.
Give
or
me
at
the
least hype up
Amazon
the storyline.
Prime Khalil Roundtree movie right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
We'll write it and direct it.
Yeah. Terrence McKinney's would be on Max. I know it already.
Okay.
You know, just like the drugs,
Speaking
homelessness.
speaking of on Max, Ryan, have you seen Winning Time, the Lakers show?
I know of it. I have not watched it.
So catch me fucking 2.5 years late to this train. That show is fucking awesome, and I'm only 2 episodes in. Anyway,
Damn.
sorry, Aaron. Continue on.
That was it.
We're all on Tatiana. We're not
Yeah.
giving Zhang a chance. In
Oh, I didn't say I'm
2024?
not giving her a chance. We haven't done
But
flyweight yet.
we all think Tatiana rides this wave.
The only
Ooh.
thing standing in Tatiana's way is that she just doesn't fight a lot, which I understand. I
But
think
yeah,
if
does
she wins in February, she can get in there in August, September, probably, because it's easy to get. Who's gonna deny her a title shot even now? If she had a title shot in her next fight, nobody would think it was weird. So
No, she's dominant.
Yeah.
She's dominant. And she has to get Zhang to the ground to win. Zhang's come a long way. She's way more well-rounded than she was. But she's such a force.
Question for you. Is UFC 299 Noche?
no,
When
Noche
is it?
September,
Oh,
No,
yeah, that's
yeah, no.
yep, thank
yeah.
you.
and
But
it's not a numbered card.
it won't be. Gotcha. I was asking because I was kind of like plotting out Alexa Grasso's fights this year
Yeah,
because she does not have a scheduled fight. Some other women's flyweights that are worth discussing: Erin Blanchfield. Come on. I mean,
That's pretty good.
Juliana Pena. I mean,
Well, Pena doesn't fight at 125. She fights at 135.
that is a good point.
Aaron
Actually-
Blanchfield's a monster.
And Raquel Pennington is on there. Okay, no. Yanji Anand, no. Irene Aldana
Macy Barber.
just lost.
Macy Barber is probably like one top tier win away from being in that Erin Blanchfield spot.
You think so? She'd go from unranked to 5?
Macy is 7.
Macy Barber is 7.
Oh,
So
I'm
here's
looking at the wrong weights.
Yeah, here's the truth. Erin Blanchfield's fighting Manon, right? Whoever wins that fight is going to fight for the belt next after
Yes.
Valentina and Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Valentina beats Alexa and they run it back another time.
A quadrilogy?
Quadrilogy.
A quadrilogy.
So
That
there's an example
draw-
where it could happen.
That draw is in there, so it could.
We thought earlier this show said we never get it. We could get it there. That's fair.
And you know what? I actually like that so much that it's going to affect my pick for who I think will be the champ.
Do you think Shevchenko?
I think
Ooh.
Shevchenko might bring it back.
I love
But I
that pick.
love the idea of Zhang Wei Li coming in, but you sold me on the quadrilogy. I could
Right.
totally see either of them winning in a competitive fight in the spring and then September again for Noche. But I could see Valentina winning it again. I don't think Alexa's going to beat Valentina again.
So Aaron and Manon fight in March. And that's going to be definitive number 1 contender, right?
I would say so.
So give me Blanchfield, who's going to fight for a title in fall this upcoming year, and she'll win.
This is fun. I like this a lot.
I like it.
She's
How
a
about you,
beast.
Dom?
You ready for the curveball?
Zhang Wei Li.
Give me Zhang Weili.
Oh, I love it. I fucking
They've been
love
going. Her and Alexa have been going back and forth on Twitter or X, talking about how they respect each other. They'd love to have a fight. I think Zhang briefly here's the path. Ready? I think Zhang briefly holds flyweight and strawweight, ends up vacating strawweight, and I think Tatiana takes it from Carla or Jan or whoever they put her in there with.
Verna
Berna
Yonderova.
Yonderova in her fucking eyes, whatever it is.
Berna
Yep.
Yonderova.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that.
why are they still called tweets if it's been moved to X?
Say that again.
Why are they still called tweets if
I don't know.
it's now called X?
I don't know.
Because Elon didn't get the whole thing about how like it becomes a verb. You Google stuff, you
Yes.
tweet,
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good point.
you Instagram things. He didn't pick that part up, that's attached to the brand. Like I don't Tesla to the mall yet. I'm not gonna SpaceX to the moon when the chance comes. But I'll fly. Anyway, I like your reasoning on that. I like the Zhang Weili. The other reason I like it is because they are the top two pound for pound women's fighters.
Yep.
And if they have that opportunity to mirror the super fight of Islam and Alex in for women, I think that is a great opportunity to jump on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So what about women's bantamweight then, which is not there's a few
Look
big
at my
names
Cheshire
on
cat
this.
grin.
Sure.
Juliana Pena.
Hey, we know, right? We all know.
Oh man, for
We all know.
bantamweight?
I golfed with a South African today,
Uh-huh.
and on the 10th hole, he hit a tee shot that can only be described as basically perfect. And I was like, you know what? That was the best ball anyone has hit all day. I want to do I put a tee shot on it and only ended up about 5 yards behind him. Just saying, sometimes you take big swings and it works out. So go ahead and put my pick on there. I don't even need to say it. You know who it is.
I don't.
You do.
I do.
Yeah, he does.
Ronda Rousey.
Of course.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I know where this
Yeah.
this
You know the
train's
game
going.
I'm playing.
I did not have a picture of her prepared, so
That's
give me a
okay.
second. Wow, the website.
Now,
Actually-
why is it Ronda Rousey? Because I just think there has been no Ronda statement saying, yeah, I'm definitely not coming back. And I've
I
heard
heard she's
very
trying to have
quiet
another
whispers. Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Well,
Travis Brown is trying to impregnate her
that's
for a second time.
I'm definitely going to be thinking about that later. The point is, it's a lot of things have to break right for me to get this pick right. And I'm not saying I'd like put $1,000 on it or something. I think the Ronda thing, I think it's in play, and the merger I think helps.
Okay.
I don't disagree with any of that, and I want to change my pick. I now disagree with Juliana Pena, and I'm going Irene Aldana
Whoa.
as the next 135 champ.
Really?
Yeah, coming off of her
It was a good win.
fantastic fight against Rosa. I can see her taking some time off. This upcoming title fight with Raquel and Maria Bueno Silva, like, let's be honest, it's dog shit, right?
Yes.
So whoever wins that fight fights
Ronda.
Pena next. And then Pena fights Irene, and Irene fucks her up.
But where does Ronda fit in to this?
So
she doesn't, because she's gonna
Okay.
she's gonna be pregante.
Well,
She's gonna be pregnant.
all right.
So you think Renee is gonna be fighting the winner of Raquel and Maria?
I think Irene is gonna be fighting the winner of likely Maria and Juliana Pena.
Why would Juliana Pena get the shot? She's coming off.
She's
a
gonna
loss.
get it after Myra and
After-
Raquel fight.
After Raquel,
Yeah, but why would they give her the title shot?
Because she's number one. Yeah.
she's
So
listed as the number one.
Ryan, you think
in the
there's going to be
135 division.
3 women's bantamweight title fights this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
First
I
one's
guess,
in January, so it could happen.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put this in there. Oh, what am I doing? Well,
Ronda Rousey with the old belt.
it's been that long. This is tough because
No,
I
this
know what
is
you
not
should
the
do.
Ultimate Fighter.
You should pick Chelsea Chandler or Julia Avila or something.
Chelsea
No.
Chandler.
Fuck yeah.
I'm gonna ride
Holly
the
Holm.
wave.
Just take a big swing.
No,
So
I could see him picking Holly Holm.
this is the weird thing is I definitely am gonna pick Holly Holm
Were you,
because
did we talk you into it or were you gonna do it?
no,
No,
I was
he's been on the Holly Holm train.
Okay.
what it is I think Dom is on to something that I think that Ronda Rousey is gonna come back at UFC 300
Hell yeah.
and a part of me feels like they will give her Holly Holm or Misha Tate.
After they strip Myra or Raquel of the belt for like a PED infringement or something.
No, I don't think they'll even strip them. I
Okay.
think the winner of that fight will fight the winner of this fight and push Juliana over. They just won't have her do anything.
All right.
But I think if I'm just gonna go with Holly Holm. I'll just
So-
leave it there.
My initial reaction was Ronda's not coming back if it's not for a title, but they do it with Connor, and Connor's a way bigger star than Ronda Rousey. So
And Ronda Rousey could co-headline anybody on UFC 300.
yes.
Like, if she came back, that's way up there. That's Brock returning, like level. Whoa, that was loud.
I think it's a little bigger than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you know what, you're right. Okay. Men's flyweight.
I'm gonna be super straightforward. I have no fucking clue.
All right, I got it. Manel Kopp.
It's Manel Kopp. Like, I don't understand why you had no clue.
It's because he didn't look good in his last fight.
No,
You know,
he didn't. He
That's
didn't.
fair.
That's true.
Is
Although
Manel
Dos Santos is a good fighter, and Ryan and I talked about that. I think at Chili's, like that's a guy that could sneaky get in there and give you some real trouble.
Mhm.
But yeah, give me Manel Kopp. That's fine.
Oh, we're
Okay.
going. It's our first. Oh no, it's our second unanimous pick.
Mhm.
We got Tatiana and Manel Kopp
I
as
Same.
prospective champions.
I'm not saying I feel great about it.
yeah.
I think Mohammed Makayev is also a dark horse in the 125 division, but he's not quite at the same like pecking order that Manel is right now at 125. And I just think Manel, one more win, he's getting a title shot.
Yeah.
Haikara France already fumbled the bag with his
Mhm.
opportunity. And
I think Manel or Amir Albazi are the most likely,
Amir Albazi, that's
and a
good
dark
call.
horse
I
Tatsuro.
saw Amir in Vegas.
Dark horse Tatsuro at the very end of the year. But
Ooh, like if he's active, yeah, I could see that.
like I don't see Tatsuro beating Manel Kopp. So it's like if Manel Kopp gets the title shot first, I feel like he could hold it. But
Okay.
Muhammad Makayev is a really big thing in there. This one's
Okay.
really hard now, but I still am leaning Manel Kopp. I just think the timing is right. I think they'll probably give him Kai Kara France or
Could
Brandon
he-
Royval.
Could he headline a fight night like in
Oh, he's-
February?
He could definitely headline a fight night.
like
Oh,
late. What's
he's
the
fighting-
late February card?
He's fighting in
Um,
January. January 13th, he's fighting Mateus Nicolau.
Manel Kopp
Ooh,
is?
that's a good
Yep.
fight.
5-6. Yep.
Oh yeah, okay, perfect. So there you go. So if he wins this, you could make the
Dominating.
argument he gets a title shot in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, because flyweight math doesn't. He doesn't have to beat Brandon Moreno.
No, they're younger. They're they're younger. They're faster. They heal faster. Cool. I'm on the Manel Kopp train.
Love it. I hope that fight goes because, as we know, he has one of those kind of curse type of things where his fights
Dude,
seem to
people
fall
drop
apart.
out
Yeah.
on all of his fights.
Mm-hmm.
This
Just like
this
Zabit.
January 13th, this return, the first card we have back.
It's good.
There's some sneaky good fights on here.
Yeah, they are. They're bringing the year back hard.
I like it.
So hard.
All right. Men's bantamweight. Now, this is Sugar Sean's show right now. the Sugar Show. There are several big fights coming up. Obviously, Sean fighting Cheeto is a big fight coming up. Sandhagen is fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. Come on, that's great.
That is a good fight.
Merab and Cejudo.
Not as good.
Aljamain seems to be moving up.
Yes.
So I don't think that is that rematch even happening?
No.
But
I
no,
don't think so.
wouldn't at all. Probably not because of
No,
Cheeto.
I don't think so.
So odds are there will be two bantamweight title fights this year, March and
Yeah.
October probably. So
Maybe even the big December card.
Maybe. There's a possibility, depending on like damage taken.
Yep.
yes. So all that being said, I think Sean O'Malley's going to retain it the whole year.
I think Dom is in agreement with you.
You know what I think.
But yeah, I think he's holding on. I don't think anybody's going to beat him for a while with the long shot. And maybe this isn't even a long shot. Merab Dvalishvili. If he fights Sean O'Malley in the fall, obviously Merab trains with Aljo. Maybe some insight there from their fight, but I
What's
think
the insight? Don't get caught with the right hand.
yeah,
Pretty sure Marab already knows
Don't
that.
get punched in the
Right?
face.
which is exactly what Merab lets happen sometimes.
He's way fucking harder to take down than you think he's going to be. His length and speed and timing is a problem. I mean,
Mhm.
I could coach Marab right now. I mean,
Yep.
what Sean O'Malley's doing is not a secret. He's not playing. It's not smoke and mirror shadow games.
Nope. Nope.
I think Sean kicks Cheeto's fucking head off in March.
Mhm.
I don't think that fight is going to be even remotely competitive. And then I think he defends again in November, December against someone like Merab. They want him in there twice a year. I think in a lot of ways they need him in there twice a year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that because they don't have Stylebender anymore, right? They need the guy that can carry 2 pay-per-views a year, and Sean can for sure do that.
Yeah, I think
And if
he
you look
can
at,
now.
you don't think Sean can?
No, he can.
No, he
Yeah.
can.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at the rest of their champions right now, Pantoja, even Leon, Strickland, there's like 3 guys that kind of you almost wonder, are they really the selling point? Like most of the 296 or whatever Leon and Colby was, most of that promotion was about Colby.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Get a lot more sound bites. And it's a US company. What do you want? We want
Yep.
US champions.
we do.
We simply
We also
do.
don't mind an Australian.
Yeah.
Or a New Zealander.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Sean. I know
Fair.
where Ryan's going.
Maybe you do.
Okay.
I'm going like outside, and styles make fights, and exciting fighters also get more opportunities. You can say that about Sean O'Malley.
Very
Give me
true.
Corey Sandhagen,
Whoa.
Wow.
I like it.
who's fighting Umar, who we have seen highlight reel finishes with his striking, who's also developed a wrestling game, notably with his ability to finish a fight after tearing a ligament in his elbow and grinding out a decision just by his physicality. He's huge for the division.
Sean did
Think
that
about
too.
this.
It was his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At 135, 6'1", thinking about
6'1",
him
good
in
Lord.
a striking matchup against Sean O'Malley, like that's exciting.
It is.
And I just think he has more paths to victory
Than
in
Sean
that
or than
matchup.
anybody else?
Yeah.
Against Sean, not against anybody else.
Yeah.
Just Sean.
Corey, like, you bring up a lot of really good points. And here's the thing, like, if Merab and Cejudo is a snooze fest, which it totally could be,
It could be.
because they're
Mhm.
both forward pressure kind of guys, and they're both wrestlers, which usually means they brawl and it ends really, really fast. But it could be a grind fest. And if it is, the winner of Umar Corey could leapfrog either of them into that contender spot. Because
Yeah.
if Umar has an insane kick finish or something like that, because he's got crazy kicks, then and his name's going to put him right up there. Because if you the next best thing to have an Aljo as your main event is having Nurmagomedov's blood and him in the coaching corner opposite. That's pretty exciting.
I don't disagree that it's a
But
huge
Corey
boost
should
for
beat
Umar,
Umar.
but Umar beating Corey doesn't make him the next title opponent.
You'd have to obliterate him.
Oh, okay. So it'd have to be like wildly
Knockout.
spectacular for him to be going from number 14 to the next title challenge.
To number
So,
4.
okay.
But
Okay,
it's also contingent on the snooze fest of Marab and Cejudo. That has to be boring for one of them to get leapfrogged.
Which it could be. It just could be a wrestling match.
Could be.
We know that Marab is just, he's full on active pressure, and Henry could be on the defense the entire time.
And
I actually think Sandhagen O'Malley is kind of a boring fight.
it could be. They both feel each other out. Corey Sandhagen's knees, which are one of his most powerful weapons, would kind of be disabled because Sean is too good at distance management.
Yep.
Which might be hard because Corey's so long and he will not have fought somebody like that. But I'm glad that these fights are happening early in the year. The Marab Cejudo, I think, is in February. If not,
And
it's
O'Malley Cheeto is in
March.
Yeah.
And Umar and Sandhagen is, I think, January. I think that's this month. I think 3 weeks. So yeah. But I like that Corey Sandhagen pick. Cool. Featherweight. We're about halfway there. Someone call Bon Jovi. Because whoa. I love all the pictures of other shit that like rhymes with halfway there, like lizard in a chair. Have you seen that? I like it. Featherweight. Alexander Volkanovski is currently the featherweight champion. He is going to be defending that against Ilia Topuria on February 17th, which is a tough fight.
It's a tough fight.
So who's gonna have the belt at the end of this? Because this should get 3 title fights this year, probably. If it's in February,
at least 2.
3, yeah, 2 to 3 for sure, depending on injuries.
Yeah. So who's gonna be the champ at the end of this year at featherweight?
I have Topuria.
You think Ilya's gonna take it and keep it?
Yes. So really depending on how this first fight goes, if Topuria wins, if it's a close decision, then Volk gets the immediate rematch. Like, you just have to do that because of what he has been in the division.
Yep.
He's earned it. And a close decision, we've seen it time and time again in the last few years with the UFC. If it's a quick finish, then obviously you're going to cycle through. You probably go Yair. You got the Yair Brian Ortega matchup coming up. That would be intriguing for future title defenses. You also have Josh Emmett, who may get another shot. But Ilya, young, has the grappling and obviously devastating power at 145. I just think there's a point at which you can only maximize your output this much, diminishing returns, and you have this rising force, which is Ilya, who's just going to come up and at some point overwhelm the rest of the competition, right? Based on current run rates, let's call it run rates.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Ilya's that guy. And I would love to see some future matchup with him and Yair. Like, that striking matchup to me is just like absolute like wonderment on the possibilities.
That's a fun
Even
fight.
with the wildness of Brian Ortega, should Brian Ortega beat Yair, that would be insane as well. But in all of those matchups, I think about the toughness that Ilya has, his ability that he's gone up to 155 and knocked out other people cold. And the fact that he's also a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt.
Got
I
a
just
lot.
I like his potential. And
Fair.
he's handsome as fuck. He's Spanish and he knows all the right people. And it's just, it's great marketing for the UFC.
There you go. How about you, Dom?
I agree with essentially verbatim everything he just said. The one thing I would add is that I think that Volkanovski made a critical mistake taking that second Makachev fight. I did not think it in the moment. I think I said, well, in fact, I know I said, because we talked about it with Kamaru. I thought Kamaru would be made quick work of and Volkanovski would still make it tough. It was the other way around, right? Kamaru made it tough for Hamzat. Volkanovski was quick work. This is way too soon to come back after the amount of damage that he took. I do think we are now going to see the end, though hopefully it will not be as crash and burny as Tony Ferguson. I do think this is where the Volkanovski train stops.
Fair.
I think there is like a weird hint of things break exactly the right way, and a guy like Brian Ortega or Arnold Allen could sneak in there.
Yeah.
But it's Ilya. Ilya should be the favorite to be the
Yeah.
he's where the money goes.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm gonna pick Ilya also, because I can also see him defeating Alexander Volkanovski for the reasons you've said. And I can see him defending against either Yair or Brian Ortega or Max Holloway. Max Holloway is the top contender, although he's not necessarily he's not going to get the next shot, right? Maybe he will.
Not
Okay,
not
if
if
Alex
not
wins,
if
if
Alex wins,
Alex
he's not
wins,
getting it. He's not getting it.
that's the thing. I think that if Alex nope, he won't.
If Alex wins, do they go, all right, we're gonna do Alex Max 4? Or if Alex loses and we're like, hey, Max is on this incredible winning streak, let's feed him, let's have him match up to Ilya, a legend in the division,
no,
against a guy who just dethroned one of the most dominant champions in the featherweight division.
Nah, I like it. I like Ilya. But there's also a dark horse with Movsar. Movsar Evloev is fighting Arnold Allen on January 20th. And that could put him at number 4 or number 3, because Brian Ortega and Arnold Allen are both ranked number 3.
But do we discount the fact that Arnold Allen had a pretty good showing against Max?
No, I don't think we discount it at all.
No, that's why it's kind of like if Volkanovski loses it, then Yair or Brian are going to be fighting Ilya next, or Max.
Doesn't Ortega have a fight coming up?
Yeah, Brian.
He's fighting Yair.
Yair.
That's right.
Yeah, and Arnold Allen is fighting Movsar. So I kind of feel like Max is sort of lost in here.
Yep.
So it's kind of, I feel like if Alex, either way, I'm picking Ilya.
He's a bit in no man's land. He's probably the second best featherweight fighter in the UFC based on his record, but he can't get a title shot because he's already lost 3 times, albeit close decision. Well, 2 or 3 close decisions to the current champion. That's no man's land for me.
Yeah.
And he's not saying like, oh, I'm going to move up a division. Otherwise he already would have.
Yeah. And then Calvin Cater's already got his next fight planned.
Isn't Cater's fighting
Aljamain? Yeah,
That's
he's welcoming Aljamain.
crazy fight because that's like stylistically, either Aljamain takes him down or Cater just pieces him up.
Yeah. Um. Yep. I'm sticking with Elia. I think
All
you're
right,
right. I think he's just gonna beat Alex and then he's gonna defend it.
go to me last on this next one.
Okay.
Whoa.
Lightweight.
Now I want to go last now.
No, I just have to use the restroom.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean, lightweight, I mean it's Islam. He is the men's pound for pound. He's gonna fight twice. So he's probably going to defend against Charles Oliveira or Justin Gaethje.
Meaning that's who his next fight's going to be, or you think he's going to beat him? Or both, I guess.
Pretty much both.
Okay.
I do think Islam can beat anybody that's in this division. I don't know that anybody has learned the secret to beating Islam. I mean, Alexander Volkanovski gave him the hardest run.
Yeah,
Ah, boy. You know,
I
I
do.
th I think I'm gonna go with
If you steal my pick, I'm going to be so fucking mad.
I'm gonna go with Islam Makhachev. I think he's
Okay.
gonna keep it. I think he's
That's
gonna
not
keep it the
crazy.
whole year.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
I don't see I could see Charles maybe doing something crazy and winning it. Uh and if he does, he might be able to hold it, but no, I'm sticking. I'm sticking. I think that he's gonna keep it.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I have kind of an out of the box thought here. I think that Islam is going to lose to Charles Oliveira. And then I think,
Really?
yes. And then I think he probably comes back and beats him at some point. But the pick I'm going to make here is Benoit Saint Denis.
Oh
And
man.
I was so worried you were going to steal it. And here's how I think it happens. I think he is like a late announcement for like a March or April fight
Sure.
against someone between 6 and 11.
Like
Kind of
Rafael Fiziev.
sure. It kind of doesn't matter who. I think he makes clean work of them and then finds himself on a November, December championship bout with Islam or Charles, whoever happens to have it at that point. And it's going to be one of those weird things where maybe a fight falls apart and they need to add one or something like that. I don't think it's going to be like a clean he wins 2 fights and gets the belt, but I do think the belt is headed his way. And I think a lot of
I like
guys,
it.
when they start looking for fights for him, I think a lot of guys are going to be like, "No, I'm all set.
Okay.
I'm good on that. I don't want to." That's what I think happens.
That's a interesting wild card pick.
I like it.
I think you prefaced it. That is truly a wild card, right? Some
Yes.
type of late fill in. I'm with Aaron. It's Islam. I don't see anybody challenging Islam. I love Charlie Olives, like truly I do. I think he's exciting. He's a much exciting prospect of a champion with what he can do in fights, regardless of style. But Islam's the way Islam fights, it's
Yeah.
almost a foregone conclusion at most times. It's not. It can be exciting. We saw that with the Volk fight, but also that's lack of preparation.
Does he feel inevitable the way Khabib did?
To a certain degree,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
also to a certain degree, like just less exciting as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I know what's probably gonna happen. I get a little excited when there's more standing exchanges done. But ultimately, like in this back pocket, he's like, I can take you down whenever I want and control you for as long as I want for most people. So I think it's Islam. I don't see anybody, unfortunately, at this stage in the game, stepping up. Now, here's the
Ryan, just quickly
wild-
about that is a masterful call on Sidney Crosby on faceoffs won by you, who he just hit it. So nicely done.
Sidney. In case you guys don't know, he's probably the best in the NHL. Also, one of the best NHL players, although he's slightly past his prime in terms of winning faceoffs. I didn't pick up on it until a while ago, but his skill, his anticipation is next level.
Where does he rank all time for you?
In players, he's not even in my top 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about hockey to argue with you. I was just curious what the number was going to be.
He's good. He's good, but he's not even the best Penguin of all time. That's Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux. Yeah, okay.
And then number 2 is Jaromir Jagr. And then he's probably number 3.
Okay.
All
right.
Jaromir Jagr, fun fact, is like at least 46, if not 48, and is still playing hockey, albeit in a minor league capacity because he just can't stop playing hockey.
I love that.
Was playing professional hockey in his 40s in the NHL.
Good for him.
Anyway, welterweight. Ooh. Wild card here. Aaron, what say you?
To me, it's a coin flip, but I do think that there's a very specific correct answer.
Yeah, I think we're all going to go this way.
I think we probably are too. It's Shavkat. I think Leon is going to defend against Bilal. Might even lose it to Bilal, but Shavkat is going to fight for a title by the end of this year. And he's going to win. The other potential is if Kevin Holland gets destroyed by Michael Venom Page, they will shoot him up there and they will have him fight whoever next.
I don't like any version of that.
They'll put MVP in like another really big fight because that's the role that MVP is facing right now, or filling, I should say, not facing. He's essentially the next iteration of Michael Chandler.
I was just gonna say that. Such a good point.
He's the next Michael Chandler. Like, I'm an exciting fighter. I'm coming in. I know I'm not immediately challenging for a title, but I'm going to make really exciting fights. And I think, to Aaron's credit, it's like you're throwing in that wrench of what if? What if he destroys Kevin Holland and makes him look silly?
Too many guys in the division.
Yeah, there's too many guys. I think you could put him up against Wonder Boy. Give him Wonder Boy. That would be an awesome.
That would be a great fight. That'd be a great fight.
Sorry, Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
So I'm ride or die with Shavkat, but I don't know if he's going to be the champion at the end of the year. I also think this is a statement of inevitability with Shavkat, but I don't know if it happens in 2024. So hear me out. We were just talking about Islam and his path and his previous comments about defending the belt against Olives and then probably going up to challenge whoever is going to be the champion at 170, which is Leon right now. He's going to fight Bilal. If that was a true statement and not just a made up story that you sent us, Aaron, but he fights Bilal. Regardless if it's Leon or Bilal, Shavkat would beat both of them, FYI. But Islam beats both of them as well. And because Islam only fights twice a year, at the end of the year, and I'm basing my pick on a technicality, that Islam is the
Mm.
welterweight champion at the end of the year.
With like a February fight lined up or something.
I
Yep.
see that.
Okay.
I like it.
I think Shavkat does beat Islam. The biggest for the welterweight belt. I am with you. I think that's how that goes. The biggest thing for me is timing and getting all these fights in
Mhm.
just 12 short months. Give me Islam here. But I think it is short-lived until Shavkat takes it from him. And when we do this show next year, it is likely
Mhm.
that fight will be scheduled for February or March.
Yeah. And it'll be Shavkat for like
When's
2 to 3
Ramadan?
solid years.
Yeah.
They're both
Ram-
Muslim, by the way.
Yeah, so Ramadan they'll both be taken off, whenever
Mhm.
that is.
It's in the summer.
Mm.
I know
Like
that
July?
from yeah, it's in the summer. I don't know specifically. I just know from people I've worked with in the past, like just the horrific experience when you have to work
Oh, it runs
through
March through
Ramadan.
April.
Mm. So no UFC 300. Oh well,
No.
March 10th, 2024 is the first day. So
got it.
maybe March 7th, who knows?
What about middleweight? Sean Strickland's the champ right now. He's defending it against Drickus on the 20th. So this we should get 3 title fights. I
agree.
think.
Three title fights for sure.
This one,
Yeah.
International Fight Week and end of the year.
Yeah.
International Fight Week, you think?
Yeah, because January and July. Yeah, I think so.
7 months.
Oh, internet. I'm conflating that with UFC 300. My bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen in here. Robert Whitaker is fighting Paulo Costa in February in Anaheim.
That has literally no impact on the middleweight belt.
It doesn't.
No.
Well, it's 3. I mean, Israel Adesanya, of course, is in the discussion,
Mm,
but I do have my answer.
do you think his next fight will be for the belt?
Israel?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, me either.
I think he's going to fight and lose to the person who's going to have the belt.
Oh,
Kazmat?
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I think. If I can get the picture over here. Oh, it's because it's up here and makes no sense. Yep. I think it's going to be Kamzat.
All
I
right, so
think it's-
Kamzat's interesting because he could definitely be Izzy, right? His ability to take people to the ground, dominate them, his just aggressive style, right? He could definitely take Izzy down, beat him, TKO. I could see that happening to Sean.
Yep. Sean said that Kamzat is a beast in sparring, though. Sean Strickland fought, they trained together, and apparently Kamzat ripped him apart.
mm-hmm.
I think Drickus beats Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I think DDP beats Sean.
I do too. Yeah.
DDP versus Kamzat is interesting. I don't know how that goes. I'd have to like really think about that. Because Drickus does have the propensity to gas himself out, but then again, so does Kamzat. So who the fuck knows?
I think that Drickus will beat Sean, and that is the fight they want. They want Israel and Drickus to fight for King of South Africa. So I think that they want that.
Well,
Of Africa, Israel's not from South
Israel
Africa.
is from Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's true, but he talks Drickus talked a big
definitely
game
not
about
South
being
Africa.
the only
About being
African,
the true African fighter. Yes.
Yeah. because he lives there. And Israel, of course, broken native.
Yeah.
And
He
Francis is out.
emigrated.
Kamaru, of course, grew up in the US, so it's like I like that. I could see Robert Whitaker beating the shit out of Paulo Costa and being up there.
He would need another fight. He
No.
would
He
would still
be a dark
yeah.
horse for a title fight
Like a late ad, a late
Or-
replacement or something.
for Well, DDP already beat Whitaker, so if DDP beats Sean, like I project, he doesn't get the next title fight, right? They go someplace else.
Yeah. I could see them putting Kamzat against Jared Cannonier pretty soon. And that happening.
but not Izzy. I thought they were rumoring. There
That's
was a
the
rumor
rumor.
of Izzy.
That's the rumor that Izzy and Kamzat are going to fight at 300.
That's a really bad move for.
And I think that's a
It's a
bad
bad
move for
move for
Izzy.
Izzy. Yes.
Um,
All right.
so
So
yeah.
here's my pick. Brendan Allen.
Whoa.
He's been looking great, man.
He's been looking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He's finishing fights. He has the specific angle, like he's got a backstory and he's trying to rep Louisiana. And hypothetically, he could get the signature purple shorts, right? Which would be a nice signature move for him. I could see him beating Sean. I could even see him beating DDP. I could see him beating Cosmot. And I think it has to line up. That's the thing, is like everything with the UFC is all about how things line up.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron, you already said we'll probably get 3 title fights, but depending on how those fights go, you could see a rematch. You could see somebody come in again. If DDP beats Sean and Robert Whitaker beats the shit out of Paulo Costa, we know that Whitaker's not getting the next title fight because DDP just beat Whitaker. So it's got to be somebody else. If Izzy fights Kamzat,
Mm-hmm.
does he get a title shot immediately after? If he beats Kamzat, yes, most likely. And if that's not until the middle of the year, that means that that's the last title fight of 2023. So really what I'm trying to say is that the timing is a bitch, but I like the fact that Brendan Allen has a ton of momentum on his side. If his next fight is against a top 5 guy and he wins via finish, he gets a title shot before the year's up. And he wins.
Give him Jared Cannonier, number 4.
Let's do it.
I like it.
I think Sean does beat Drickus. That's what I think today. I don't know what I'm gonna think in 3 weeks. I really just think this division is being kept warm. Um, I to Ryan's point, I don't think the timing is gonna work out for Bo for this year.
Yep.
I think he takes it very early next year, though.
Yep.
I is it cheating if I don't make a pick? Do I have to make one?
You don't
Yeah.
have to do anything, but we
I
want you to
don't-
make a pick.
This is not like I would not bet on this. I truly don't know. I don't see Sean defending it 3 times, and I do think there's going to be 3 middleweight title fights. So I sure give me Brendan Allen. I'm not on the Hamzat train, so
Cool.
I think the path to victory or the path to the belt for a little while for Brendan makes sense. I don't think Israel ever gets it again. I don't think Robert Whitaker ever gets another chance. Yeah, I think Drickus could beat Sean, and then Drickus loses to Allen, and then Allen loses to Jack Hermanson or some shit. I don't know. Like it could go any which way.
Then we move to light heavy. Alex
All right.
Bejeda is the reigning champion.
This is and still for me.
And still.
I'm not
Fair.
really that excited about any upcoming light heavyweights.
This probably isn't connected, but I guess it could be mentioned. The rumor mill is that Alex cryptically posted 30 plus 300 equals 3, which is 30 pounds, 235 for himself at UFC 300 equals 3 championship belts, is the rumor mill. That he's going to challenge Tom Aspinall for the interim at 300.
Okay.
Which would be pretty cool, but it of course would mean he's moving up to heavyweight. I think light heavyweight is too good for him to manage. I think that he's gonna stay there for a long time. I think this is also and still. I don't see anybody coming up. I don't think Yuri's gonna fight it. I don't think Jamal's gonna take it away from him. Ratchich is a black horse in there. Roundtree Jr. is a dark horse in there, a black horse. Shit, even Johnny Walker looked really good this year. He's
Yeah,
not going to
not
beat
Johnny
Alex
Walker, though,
Bejeda.
right? We know it's not going to be Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Magomed is still lingering down in there. So
The problem with a lot of these guys, though, and
he's
I'm going to
fighting
even
Johnny
loop
Walker.
Yuri in.
2 weeks.
Yuri, Magomed, Jan, Rakic, Krylov, Walker. A lot of these guys have a real thing where they just kind of turn in lackluster performances at times, and you can't do that against Alex Bejeda.
Nope. Oops. I put that where mine was supposed to be. Are you picking Alex Bejeda also, Ryan? That makes this way easier.
I
You could say no.
am. Like part of me wants to go back to the well and go Rakic again.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what I see from Pajeda at 205 and just the evolution of his game continuing to develop with takedown defense. And it just his striking is really suited for what happens in mixed martial arts. Low leg kicks.
Mm-hmm.
He has great power in both hands.
Mm-hmm.
He can take a shot. He can take even more of a shot at 205 than he did at 185. I really like Alex, and like I even like his prospects against some heavyweights. Just
Fair.
with his skill set and what he can do.
I don't want to see Stipe fight him, for example.
Yeah.
No.
I did like
I
your
don't want
Rakic,
to see what happens to Stipe. I like Rakic as a dark horse.
He's fighting
But
Yuri.
Rakic he's such a and if he wins in like really dominant fashion, let's say he gets like a early round stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you say like, oh, he doesn't get the next title shot?
Yeah,
because light heavyweight's such a like enigma right now, and you just beat one of the former champions who just fought for the belt recently. Like, how do you not give him a title shot? But against Alex Bejeda, again, it's an unknown. Like that's a stand-up war.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rach's size. I like his physicality, but like we've seen people crumple against Alex time and time again. So what do you do? Like you have to say, Alex, I love what you're doing. 7 fights and you're a UFC champion. And now you've won a championship in 2 weight classes. Let's make it 3, baby. Let's go. Yeah. I'm not picking that, by the way, but
the
heavyweight
is pretty tough to pick that.
Yep. And that gives us heavyweight. The question is, does John Jones retire?
Yes.
So if he retires this year, then I actually do think this will be vacant at the end of next year. I don't think there will be an interim. I don't think there will be. I think that he will win towards the end of the year and vacate, and it'll be scheduled for early 2025.
You should not have Aspinall pictured as the champion there.
You're right. I shouldn't.
And you shouldn't have on our picks either. Even though I guess I did pick Gone. That's not really the point. Keep going.
So I'm leaving mine blank. I think it's going to be vacant. That is my pick. I think John Jones will fight. But there's the fucking interim. So like he has to fight Tom, take it, and then vacate. Which is what I think will happen. I don't think he's going to fight Stipe. I don't even think he's going to fight Tom. I think he's going to vacate entirely. So, but it's just going to take a long time. That's my pick. No pick.
Give me Aspinall. Like interim to full-time champion. I do think John Jones retires. I think Aspinall has the answer for just about everyone, including Cyril Gahn, because he can take that to the ground and dominate. And if what we see holds true with what Cyril Gahn has put up in terms of resistance against John Jones and Francis Ngannou, Tom Aspinall is going to hold the belt unless he gets some type of unfortunate, like, one punch KO, which that can happen in the UFC, specifically in the heavyweight division. That can happen. However, skill for skill, size, agility, ability to take the fight wherever he wants, give me Tom.
Alrighty.
So here's how this goes. John fights at, let's call it 300. Defeating Tom Aspinall. I do not think the Stipe fight happens, unfortunately for Stipe, because that's a nice payday for him. He beats Tom Aspinall in July. Tom doesn't take a lot of damage, whatever. And then in December, Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gahn fight for the vacant heavyweight title fight. And you know him, and you know I love him. I can't quit Cyril Gahn, so I think Cyril Gahn wins. I'm not saying I'd put money on that, but I do think I'm with you, Aaron. I think that timing is a bitch here. We have, how many top 15 heavyweights even have a fight announced? Is Ty fighting maybe, or did he just
he's
fight?
fighting
like,
in a couple weeks.
There's not a lot.
Ty's fighting in Anaheim.
Okay, not a lot of fights. We don't see a whole lot of top 10 heavyweight action ever. So I think that it goes John Jones beats Aspinall. I don't think either of them fight until July. And then
There'll be fight week.
John walks off in July in Vegas in front of everybody. And then Cyril Gahn and Tom Aspinall. I just said that Cyril Gahn and Tom Aspinall fight for the vacant.
I like
and
that.
Cyril Gahn wins. And then I think maybe it's like a really compelling fight. And then they fight again, and maybe Tom wins. Like I really,
Yeah, they could go back and forth.
that's a lot of fun, that matchup. So I think maybe we get 3 of those, the way we got 3 Cormier Miocic.
I like it. Well, there it is. Let's see. We were all unified that we think Tatiana Suarez is going to take strawweight women's. We're all unified that Manel Kopp's going to win flyweight for men. Or sorry, that was strawweight. I probably said it right. Featherweight, we all think Ilia Topuria's day has come. Ryan believes Islam is going to be double champ at the end of the year of light and welterweight. And we're all lined up on light heavyweight behind Alex Bajeda. There's our unified choices. I like it.
It's some interesting. I think we'll look back on the discussion and be like, yeah, we weren't too far off. Some of that happened.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're 2/3 correct most of the time. So we're in the discussion. Guys, lock us in for 4 of 6 every time.
And the only crazy one is Ronda. That's the only crazy pick on the board.
And that isn't even that crazy.
I'm just throwing a Hail Mary. If I'm gonna go 11 for 11, I gotta zig when you guys zag, you know.
Like if they bring her back and put her up against Misha Tate, and then she wins, she'll get a title shot after that if she sticks around.
Let's do this. Let's keep this screen for when we are making picks for title fights, and see if we still feel the same way. That'll be an interesting thought experiment.
It is henceforth saved.
I think I know what we're taking it out on.
I do too.
Go for it.
2024.
Hey, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people together. Yes, let's get